Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. John and Risotto here, as always, with Mr. George Batista. And we are excited because one of our closest friends and definitely a friend to the show who's been on, I think, probably more than anyone, I think, at this point,
Think
right?
so
I
too,
think
actually.
she's tied with the record. But yeah, Annie Laven is with us this evening, and we're very excited to have her on. I'm going to turn it over to George. He's going to read a little bit about Annie, and then we're going to bring her on and we're going to have an amazing conversation. So hang on tight.
Absolutely. Purpose is
Yes.
what we're talking about today. That's the key word. Annie Laven is the author of one of the top 75 happiness blogs on earth, titled You Are an Artist. She has won the Academic Choice Award for her children's book, Chasing Your Dreams. And she was a semi-finalist in the most prestigious screenwriting competition in Hollywood, the Nicholl Fellowship. She's got a brand new book, and it's titled Know Your Purpose, Unlock the Secret That Empowers You to Be Beautiful, Powerful, and Incredibly Valuable. I am absolutely excited to talk about the book and also to have her on. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Annie Laven. Yes.
Yay.
Hello.
Hello,
It's so
hello, and
great to be
welcome.
back.
Yes, it's so exciting to have you back. As always, one of the things that, George, it's funny. George and I, is that how you say George and I or George and me? Anyway, George and me, um, we quote you. We,
Yes.
we mention you a
Yes.
lot in our show.
Yes, we
Like
do.
sometimes we're like, and remember when Annie was on, we would talk.
That's right.
I love
So
that.
you've definitely made an impact in our lives,
Thank
and and of course I can talk more about me having actually done your actual course and having such incredible successes and wins on that. So that's something that I definitely will be sprinkling throughout the evening as we start our conversation. But
you. Fantastic.
thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. I would like to say that your opening graphics rock.
Oh, thank you.
That is
Appreciate
awesome.
it. Thank
Well
you.
done. Yeah.
Thank you so
Professional.
much.
Very
Appreciate that.
professional.
Yeah, I gotta update it a little bit and maybe put George's face in it.
Just,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe. I think the ratings will go down though, but
At this point, you can put my photo on it.
Oh well,
then the rate.
then Rogan is gonna have a
Yeah,
run for
definitely
his money.
competition right there, man. All right.
Cool. So, where can we begin? I mean, we have questions, obviously, and we're prepared to. But I think one of the first things I want to ask is, the inspiration that you had for penning this book, Know Your Purpose. Is that something long? I know a little bit about it, but I know it's more extensive.
Well, I have the blog You Are an Artist, which is, I really focus on positive, uplifting solutions. And I woke up one morning and I thought, I need to help the world. I
Mm,
mean, it was overwhelming. And, you go, okay, how?
Right.
right.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it and I realized that there was a tool that I had that I really had never met anyone else um, who ever talked about that they actually were able to put their purpose into words.
Mm,
And as a screenwriter, and I really focus on character driven scripts. And so it was just something that I had created over time when I was developing my characters, how to know my character. And then one day I went, oh gosh, I can apply that to myself. And when I say to you, what happened to me was life changing. When like the driving force behind everything
mm,
that you do, it gives you balance and it centers you, and your ability to bounce back from anything, it
yeah.
changes.
Yeah. It's
So
powerful.
yeah, so that was
It's
the
powerful.
inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think a lot of people have that that thing. I want to help the world, but then
Mhm.
action part, this execution part, that's the challenging part, and you were able to execute it, which is like an incredible thing. So that's awesome.
I actually wrote the book in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I
Wow.
just talk about moved, right? Just
Wow.
really just came out of me. And I think part of it was I had spent so much time when I was writing my blog. The first step of artistry is knowing your purpose. And I had written quite a bit about it. And I think when I finally sat down to write the book, I think I really drew heavily on what I had already written. So it just really
Yeah,
flowed.
you had the research almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it takes me 2 weeks to write an email, so I'm that's incredible.
I know what you mean. Jeez. Wow. So yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get into details. I want to get into, I love details and stuff. So when we're looking at purpose, John and I, a couple of weeks ago, I think we had a conversation regarding purpose. And John actually, it was interesting because John had said that when he talks to people and asks them what their purpose is, they automatically go to what their goals are.
Yes.
And he would say, no, what's your purpose? And then all of a sudden there would be a blank stare.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about like the differences and how kind of people can, reconcile that whole thing.
Absolutely. Goal is the physical universe. These are the things that you do. Purpose is spiritual. It's who you are, right? So I really separate them out that way. And in the book and in the course, I show you that purpose comes first. There's a sequence, right? Your purpose always comes first. Now, like we get into trouble when it's backwards, right? We find out, oh yeah, and we talk about that a lot too. But that really is the difference. The goal is the physical action, and the purpose is spiritual.
Yeah, and for me, I remember when I did the course, because I was lucky enough to be I think one of the
You were
first.
one of the first ones, John.
Yeah, and it was really eye-opening because I had that, or it wasn't that I thought I knew goals and purposes were different, but I had them mixed together.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like it's just one big lump of thing, and it's all and I mean, it's so far apart. They're
Yeah.
two completely different things that by the end of the course I realized, and I realized what my actual purpose is, which was enlightenment, and we talked a lot about that afterwards.
Yes.
And I like enlightening people. I like, making people laugh and talking to them about something that maybe they don't know. And that's what the course did for me. And, it's such a great to just have that viewpoint shift
Yes.
in not a long period of time.
Yeah.
And that was incredible. Now we kind of defined purpose. What's the biggest misconception that you would say that people have? Now, I know we talked about purpose, but like when people do courses and people, what's one of the that you've run into biggest misconceptions that people have had on taking courses and trying to find answers within a course?
Most people believe that there is no answer.
Wow.
I mean, really,
Yeah, yeah.
it's the idea. Wow. Okay, sure. Really?
Yeah.
But that's what's really great is that
Yeah.
it's not a book that talks about purpose.
Right.
It introduces you to the idea of why maybe you should want to know your purpose, and then kind of pulls apart things like goal and purpose, and then eventually actually take you through the steps so that you can define your own I'm not doing it. It's you who does it. So, you were born with your purpose. You don't grow into you don't become your
Right.
purpose. You're not in search of becoming, right?
Right.
I think that's also a confusion. It is you're just remembering. Just
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
Just remembering it again. Oh, I love that. That's so
Mhm.
cool. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Incredible. Incredible. Yeah, I didn't even think about the way, just like the way you put that. I never
I
thought
know.
about it that way. It's just
I
like,
know.
ding,
I know. I was like, oh, yeah, that's awesome.
So, one of the things that even I've struggled with is this idea that, like, in my life, music initially, I said music is my purpose, right? Music
Mhm.
is the driving force in my life.
Mhm.
And, as ever since I was a kid, music was part of my life. And I've done that, been there, done it, and we had, good success doing it and all stuff. But then I also found in that health and
Mhm.
wellness and
Mhm.
helping people.
Mhm.
Then it kind of clicked over and said, wait a minute, I love doing that. I love sharing that. And I love helping people in that way. So
Mhm.
then I said, wait a minute, can I have more than one purpose?
Mhm.
So that's my question for you. How have you run into people? Or how would you address people who think, would have like more than one
Right.
purpose?
It's a great question, George. You have your primary purpose, which is that which defines how you help others.
Mm,
And I'm glad you talked about that word help because it really is at the heart of purpose is how we help. Do we enlighten? Do we empower? Do we uplift? Do we validate? What is it in every relationship we have? Is it with our parents, with our children, with our friends, at work? It's like, what is it that, how are we helping others? So that's the primary purpose. Now, you have secondary purposes. Why do I want to buy a car?
right,
Right?
right,
Why do I want to go to school? In the end, it goes back to fulfill your primary purpose, but you do have secondary purposes.
Hmm,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
that's awesome. It's almost like, not almost like, it is that the book and the course guide you
Mm,
in, so you can find, so you can first get the definitions cleared up of what things are, and
sure.
then you can clearly look at your situation, and because you do a lot of, there's writing and there's a lot of you know what do you call it, a lot of practicals that you
Mhm.
do, and you learn a lot, and you, so as you're doing that, you're then being able to see clearly more
Yeah.
of what those are, like George said, those purposes and primary purposes, and see what they are, because that's that I always do the same thing, because music, like
Yeah.
George and I, we've been playing music as kids and stuff together, and that for us, we were just like, that was it,
Right.
Yeah. Well,
and
think about it, John. Think about when you did the course, the word was enlighten, right?
mm-hmm,
Right. So when you're playing I was watching your was it on Instagram? You were playing your guitar,
mm-hmm,
and I was watching you and I was going, oh, look, there he is
Yeah.
doing your thing, right? It's part of the enlightenment, right? Of
right,
introducing, I didn't know you could play the guitar like that. I didn't know the guitar could sound like that. It was learning for
yeah,
me, right? So you do it in your music, you do it in your acting. It's
yeah, yeah. It's
it's how
amazing
you
when
help.
you can,
Yeah,
yeah, it's amazing when you can see it,
yeah,
because then you can really feel it,
yes,
you
and
know.
that I think that's a big part of it too. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about um, goals and purposes. And we have a tendency to define our lives by the accomplishment of our goals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
There is no fulfillment. The
right,
fulfillment, not that there's none, it's it's brief.
yeah,
Then you go, okay, now what?
yeah,
Right? As opposed to when you are fulfilling your purpose through accomplishing your goals because they're aligned with your purpose.
right,
When you achieve that goal, the fulfillment lasts because it's part of something bigger, right? You're always building. It's not fleeting. It's part of a mosaic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And going back to artists, you'll have some artists that will spend, so many years trying to get this, it's a goal, and they're going, and they reach it, and
Mhm.
then it's not what they thought it was going to be. And then unfortunately, some of them turn to, chemicals to try to
Yeah.
find something, or because they hit the peak of what they thought was going to be the answer,
Yes.
to find their purpose. They thought that was going to be their purpose, and they didn't realize, they didn't know the difference. So that's amazing.
May I take this moment to shift to something really important that's happened to me, and you're actually already talking about it.
Yes, absolutely.
After I released the book, and I just want to take a moment to say thank you to every person who bought the book. I realized that when I was going to publish this book, that I didn't want to just publish it. I wanted people to see it. And I really reached out to my friends and family, and they reached out to their friends, and it became a #1 bestseller on Amazon. And I am just so deeply grateful for the fact that everybody who said they were going to did, and it was amazing. For 3 weeks, I was on the bestsellers list. I was the top of the new releases. I mean, it was amazing.
That's so exciting.
Yes,
I love that.
not long after that, I went to Montana. I was invited to deliver my workshop. A friend of mine had recommended it to Dallas Knight, who is the founder of Operation Juliet. And it was a retreat for female combat veterans with PTSD.
Wow.
And when I say to you, it has changed my life, it has changed my life. When I wrote the book, I knew that purpose was important, right? I knew what it had done for me. But when I did this workshop and saw the impact on veterans, I was blown away. I was humbled. I was so grateful to be able to help. And it has shifted my trajectory very strongly towards my attention working with veterans to help them find their purpose. Because what I've come to understand is that when our soldiers sign up, they go into the military, and they're trained, they're given a position, they do a great job, they're told what to do, when to do it, they thrive. They're part of a bigger mission, right? I mean, it's duty, it's the highest duty. We are so lucky that they chose to do that. But what happens is when they leave, it's gone. And the transition back into being a civilian is hard. And what I'm finding is that giving them the opportunity to separate out who they are as a soldier, right? Why was I a great soldier? It wasn't just that I was drilled. It wasn't that I was trained. It wasn't that I did what I was told to do. It was because I was a great human being, right? And so what we're doing is we're helping them identify who they are so they can separate out, actually rehabilitate all the great things they did as a soldier. But now they can look at their future as a person, right? And so there's an organization called Vets Returning Home out of Michigan. Sandy is the founder, and she is dynamite. I mean, this woman for 12 years has been helping veterans on the brink of becoming homeless. And she has a place for them to stay. I mean, she is extraordinary. Well, she's creating a retreat. She's restoring a mill, and behind the mill is this beautiful property, and she's transforming it to a retreat for veterans. And they're going to deliver my workshop as part of that retreat. And I'm just like,
wow.
I know. It's so wonderful. I'm so, there's so many words, but grateful for sure. But I just wanted to say that because it talk about, you have a purpose, right? Mine is to validate what's right about others so they can be free to be themselves.
Yeah.
And boy, am I being allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been amazing. The people I have met along this particular route. American Legion, we're working with Rotary Club. I have not met anyone who has said, no, I don't want to help the veterans.
Right.
You know?
Right. I
No.
mean, if
Yeah.
you do, that's a pretty wild person.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Can you actually? I want to hear a little bit about some of these individuals you've met. So Tahoe 2 Tennessee says, "I love this discussion. Very meaningful. Thanks."
Wonderful.
Tell me a story of someone, a personal story of someone that you actually had a conversation with, or an
Absolutely.
impact.
There was a young Marine who was in the workshop in Montana, and her name is Annalise. And when she was doing the workshop, when I would watch her, it was like, there was almost fear, like she wasn't going to get it, right? Like she wanted it, but she couldn't believe maybe that she was going to be able to get it. So she went through the program. And the amazing thing was that those women were there for each other through the whole thing. It was extraordinary.
Wow.
But she did the program, was blown away. And then since then, I think it's probably she's up to like 14 veterans who she has helped find their purpose. She's like totally committed, and she is so good at it because they know she really cares.
Right.
And she speaks that same language.
She's lived it.
Able to find that entry point really fast. So
Wow, she lived it, so it's
yes,
she knows
yes,
the wow, that's incredible. One of the things I think about also when you're telling the stories of is not only this was probably something that you did not anticipate
no,
to to help. But,
no,
you say you want to help the world. Well, that's part of the world.
yeah,
You had no idea, and I bet you now, and maybe you can talk a little bit about how you're feeling now. Now you can see that this can be implemented into any type of situation. So how did what did that make you feel like, when you, especially because I know you mentioned the story of Montana,
yes.
coming back from there, you must have been on cloud nine.
I was I'm not quite sure where I was. I was so blown away, and I knew that I was committed. Someone once said to me, once you realize you have something that can help, every day that you don't do it, you're doing something wrong. Right. And that is exactly how I felt when I realized. I had to process it, because the feedback, one of the veterans said, this should be the reintegration program for every military branch. And that hit me. And I was like, wow. So it took me a little while to understand and to talk more and to have more conversations. And then when I met Sandy, who is with Vets Returning Home, she's been doing it for 12 years. And, she put it very succinctly, what she had seen, which was, a lot of these soldiers enlist right after they graduate. And so they've had a very structured life. They were at home, everything was structured. Then they, at school, everything was structured. Then they went into the military, everything was structured.
Right.
And then after, they're lost.
Right.
It's like someone else was always in charge. And now they're going, wow, okay, now what? And so that feeling of being lost and no direction, I have no purpose, this was a reoccurring theme that she would see again and again. And when she heard about my program, we were introduced from one of her board members, Lenny. Thank you, Lenny, who introduced me from Lawrence. I mean, it's friends of friends. I mean, that's how it works, right? It's
networking.
Something they want to help.
Yeah.
So that's been fantastic. Yeah.
That's great. And when it's things like this, like, you find that network, they're just as excited to tell the next person.
Yes.
Oh, you know who you should meet. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
because it's such a high purpose.
Yes.
You know.
And when I speak to people like in the Rotary organization, because we're always looking for support for the veterans for the program. And what was great was that a gentleman, John, that I was talking to, immediately understood that it wasn't just for veterans. He immediately recognized that the sheriffs could use it, that it
Right.
could be used, teachers and emergency technicians, emergency room nurses. Just it goes on and
On.
on. Where
Yeah.
people just kind of need to be rehabilitated, they forget why. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Right. As time goes on.
Especially in that in a kind of industry that you relied on so heavily
Yeah.
for lives.
Yeah.
Like, nurses and people that are in certain groups of teachers, I would say also.
Yes.
where
They're
they-
also on the front lines.
yeah, they are on the
Yeah.
front
They're
lines,
on the front
absolutely.
lines. Yeah.
And policemen, sheriffs, firemen, they're
The prisoners. Yeah.
prisoners. Yeah, there are these groups that are that you don't, once they're out of it,
Yeah.
or even while they're in, they may not really even know. They may think that's their purpose. It's just wearing that uniform
Yeah.
is why they're there. And then at some point, you reach the point where you have to be like, is this really? And so I think it's, even if they're in, not necessarily if they're out, if they're in, I think that's a key
Yeah.
thing for them to really understand what their purpose are, because it could be different. You could have 10 police officers in the same precinct and they all have 10 different purposes.
Oh,
Yeah.
most likely. I've
Yeah,
met
yeah.
two
Most
people
likely.
who have had the same purpose.
Yeah, isn't that
You know what I'm saying?
amazing?
Interesting.
Isn't that amazing? That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You mentioned one thing about going back to how you kind of almost like walked into that whole section of stuff that you didn't even attend to initially, right?
Yes.
How about folks that that happens to? In other words, they meet somebody somewhere and all of a sudden there's a drive that they kind of get pulled in that direction, but they're like, is that right? Should I follow that? And then maybe when they're saying, no, maybe it's scary. Maybe I shouldn't go that direction. But when they kind of go the normal direction, there's still that drive. Maybe I should have done that. Maybe is that part of this whole thing that they should actually be listening to?
Oh my gosh. George, you have the greatest questions.
He's the best.
God!
That's why I keep him on. That's why I keep him on.
That's why I'm here. Yeah.
Yes. No, it is a great question. And the answer is yes, very much so. There's actually a chapter called Orientation. And in it, you use and in the online course, there is a compass.
Mm-hmm.
When you are at the center, when you put a dot and then you draw the circle, well, you are that dot. And when you know what your purpose is, you are at the center of that circle. So everything in that circle is empowered. It's all power, right? But somebody has an idea of who they think you are, or somebody you really likes those things, and you find yourself moving the center of that circle over there. Well, okay, now you got to draw that circle again. Right. Now what happens? It's only a smaller section that's got all that power. And you feel it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When they're going, I don't know. I'm not sure. Right?
Right.
When you know your purpose and you have that center and you have to make a choice, you feel it. You feel empowered when it is within that circle.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I've said, actually, John and I talked about it, and I've said purpose for me is the thing you do regardless of what you're going to get out of it, meaning whether it's financially or anything else. To me, If I'm helping somebody, even on the nutrition side of things, I could do it till I'm 100 years old, not make a dime on it, because it's something that just fulfills me doing it.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
and John and I have had conversations about this, but yeah, it's incredible stuff.
Yeah. And you can make money. You know what I'm saying? So it's not
Yeah.
mutually exclusive. It's
Right.
not, your purpose is to help, therefore you can't generate money doing it.
Right.
The thing with purpose is it's in every area of your life.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
gonna double his salary,
Thanks, John. I'm finally
George.
getting a raise after how many years?
I love it. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Yes. See, we need to have her on like all the time.
yeah, making bank. Um, well, another thing that George and I always talk about, and we've talked about in the past, even with you, is artists,
Yes.
and they are in this. They're being. I mean, right now is a crazy time for artists, right? I mean, we have AI doing things. We have Hollywood is, I don't know what's going on over there. We have
Yeah.
smaller production houses going on. There's still a lot of work happening. There's still a lot of work. There's networks that we never even heard of that have a tremendous following
Yep.
that we talk about. Um, but this, can you talk about, like, let's say an actor in LA somewhere, in New York, trying to find their purpose. They think that their purpose is to get on a network television show or to get opposite side of Denzel, and that's their purpose.
Yeah.
How would you advise an artist,
First, have them buy the book.
of course, and do the course?
Yes.
Yes, or the course, you can download the book or buy.
Bo-
But
bo-
it really has a lot to do with separating out the goal and purpose. I mean, there's the whole chapter, and
Right, and it always comes down to that, really, when you think about it.
yeah,
Even with art,
yes,
it's like, why are you doing this?
yeah,
Like when I play, I sometimes I don't plan it. I just like say and I improvise all that. So I just put on whatever I hear, and then I just start playing. And there's a joy that you don't realize you're going into I don't know, you kind of fall asleep in a way. It's like
Yes.
Mhm.
You're.
other wavelength, I guess, right?
Yep.
Aesthetic wavelength. And you enter it, but you don't realize when you're entering it. You only realize when the song is over, and you're kind of like, oh, what happened?
yeah,
And that's what artists are always striving for,
right,
and so I can see why someone would look at that and be like, that's my purpose. I want to feel like that all the time.
Right.
yeah, yeah,
But I realize now, having done your course and other courses and trainings and books and your book, that it's really about what it actually gives to others. When I'm doing that now, I'm not thinking anymore of, yes, I am floating and I feel like I'm flying high, but I also know that this is creating an impact because it's the communication I want to give out. That's
yes,
the key thing. So this is why this conversation of purpose is so key to our show. And we've done shows where you could have just been here,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
and
like,
you were kind of
yeah,
on purpose,
yes.
and that's just, it just feels fantastic.
Thank you. I'm trying to. I had so many thoughts while you were talking. I was trying to remember.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No. I love
He
listening.
can do that
I
to
love
you.
listening to you. We were talking about artists.
Right? I started with artists, and then suddenly I'm
Yes.
on an aesthetic
I just
wavelength. Yeah.
yes. No,
Um,
artists.
yeah.
Okay, this is what I would say to artists about purpose. Your purpose defines your voice. And as an artist, that's what you have, is your voice. What makes you different?
Right.
Why you and not him or her, right? your purpose, when you tap into that thing, that's what shines. That's why someone will pick you as opposed to you. There's a calm certainty that emanates from someone who knows their purpose, right?
Yeah.
So, as an artist, if you truly understand what's driving you and you pour that into every, either, a musician, into everything that you play or write or sing, or as an actor, every role, as a writer, everything I've ever written, I can tell you to validate what's right about others
Yeah.
so they can be free to be themselves, is in there, right?
Yeah.
So that is why I was able to write this book, right? I was so aligned with my purpose.
Right.
And, as far as I know, there's not really anybody else who's had the ability to put purpose into words in this particular way. So I feel like it's a very unique voice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It 100% is, because I'm out there. I'm on social. We do shows all the time, and I talk to a lot of people, and it's never been this defined, this clearly defined. But not only that, but also user friendly.
Yeah.
Not only can you define it, but then you can actually apply it.
Yeah.
And I think one of the, I've read so many books, just, random books that will promise you certain things, and there's a lot of fluff in the book.
Yes.
It's just a book. There's a lot
And
of words,
yeah.
a lot of like fancy things. They may throw in a graph in there every once in a while just to make you feel like they use the printer correctly. But at the end of it, you don't get the meat that they were talking about when they were promoting the book. And
Right.
I think that within lesson one, I remember lesson one, I was already like, oh damn.
Right.
I was already challenged to something that I
Yeah.
felt uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and I think
Yes.
that that's the best place to be when you're trying to grow as a person, as an artist, is to that uncomfortableness of having to observe yourself,
Yes.
and really start really just dicing and
Yes.
seeing who you are. And I just love that whole idea of it. I was going to ask you, when you were writing the book,
Mhm.
did that come to you right as you were in the book? Because I know you had the chorus, but when did you realize that this was something that was also going to be challenging, and that you knew that it had to be in a way where people would not want to run away from it?
Yeah. When I wrote the book first, and as I was writing it, of course, I edited it, and you do rewrites,
Yeah.
but I had to keep cutting the gradient. I had to, you know
Interesting.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they going to run away right here.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they going to run away right here.
Yeah.
And everything is done with such love,
Right.
right? Just the every page is filled with love, and the idea that we're not focusing on what's wrong with you, we're focusing
Right.
on what's right.
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 Every step of the way, it's
Yeah.
about validating what's right,
Yeah.
right? And so yeah, that was what occurred. I had to keep cutting the gradient where I felt um, I may lose them, or
Yeah.
run for the hills.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's funny because a lot of those I don't know, I don't want to call them whatever, those books that promise things, I'll call them.
Yeah.
Um, they are all about what's wrong with you. That's what
Yeah.
they focus on, like, why are you so messed up? Here's my book,
Right.
and
This is how you fix it. Yeah. I
yeah,
want to. Can I show you something?
yeah,
I don't know if you'll
absolutely.
be able to see it, but like each page, I don't know if you can see.
Yeah,
They're not a lot of words.
right, right.
I mean, look, there's one
Interesting.
sentence.
Very confrontable.
Very. The
Yeah,
idea, space,
and
right?
powerful.
When you're looking,
Yeah,
right? I, I I didn't want it to be overwhelming. I wanted it to be a very gentle, lovely experience with a lot
Yeah.
of space.
Yeah, yeah, and that is something that you do feel when you're on the court. You do feel, when you first kind of like, whoa, okay, and you're really thinking. You do feel like there's space. You feel very validated also because there's nothing in it to tell you, oh, you're this. It's not about that. It's about let's explore this.
Yes.
Let's find this. Where are you?
Yeah.
Let's
It's an
find you.
invitation.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like sort of like let's find you. You know, and because that's why at the end I remember I wrote down. I think we talked afterwards, and was I had the word, and I was like, I've never in my entire life had this word
Hmm.
be so connected to me.
Yeah.
Because it was just a word that was just used, but enlightenment was like, enlightenment, what? And but it fits so perfectly. And then as I cleared the word and I looked at it really carefully, I thought, this is exactly what I've been doing my entire life.
Yeah.
George can tell you that, George is a few years younger than me, so I was, I knew him when he was shorter than me, believe it or not. So we were.
At one point, we saw eye to eye, and then that was that.
Oh my gosh, I
It
love
was
it.
it was a week, but still.
Yeah, pretty
Yes.
much.
And so I just remember challenging him
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
to try things, and that was always something that, and to enlighten him and bring him music and be like, hey, let's do this,
Mhm.
and so I've been doing it for a while. So it was just great to be
You
able
were
to have.
born, John.
I was born for that. I was born
Born.
enlightened.
but you know what? He's right though. It's interesting, and it goes back to what we were talking about before. When you have somebody in your life and you feel that pull, John was that for me, because again, going back to music, I knew that music was going to be in my life in some capacity as even a really little kid.
Yeah.
But when John came into my life, and like I always say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right? John, he's always been in my life, but he was there for the music part of it, where he said, "Come on, George, let's play some music. Let's go out." Where I was very kind of suppressed in my head with my family, and no, you got to do it this way. You got to do this way. And I was like, maybe I should follow him, because there's something that's telling me that that's the right way to go. And sure enough,
And I wasn't popular, I tell you that much.
and,
man.
and you're right, he
Even
wasn't
though his
popular.
family
And
is
that's
my
the thing.
family, I was not popular.
And that's actually a good question. What about the folks who feel that they may not be popular in those decisions that they make, even though they know it's their purpose? Maybe their family might not like what they're doing. How do they reconcile that?
George.
He's the best.
He's the best. You're the best.
You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy.
Okay. So imagine that you have calm certainty about who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the answer, right? If
Yeah.
you know, doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
True.
I mean, it really gives you that freedom
Yeah.
to just be you, right?
Wow.
There's nothing more powerful that you can do for anybody else on earth than to just be you.
Yeah.
Incredible. And then it's interesting, because then when you're there and you know it and you feel it, it's almost easy. It's
Yeah.
like when I got behind the drums and started playing, and John knows this,
Yeah.
it was effortless. I had never played drums before in my life, but yet I could do it.
George learned to play. I can attest to it because I was in the room.
Yeah.
I went with him to buy his first drum, but George learned to play drums. 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was
Sure.
quick. It was
Maybe like
quick.
20 minutes. He figured out.
I just
I
knew it.
remember setting up his drums because I had pictures of what drums look like.
He set them up and then I played it.
I set him up, and I said, "Well, this is called a hi hat, and I think you hit this like that." And then he
Yeah.
just sat back there and like he was hitting things, and he figured out. And then like in 20 minutes, he's playing.
Wow.
We were playing.
Yeah,
It
and
was
it's
that fast.
remembering, right? It's
Yes,
Remembering. I
yes.
love that.
Yeah.
And our break time friend Sean says,
Pay
"Pay
George."
George."
See, thank you. The George Fund.
Love it.
Jeez, hold on. Um,
Okay.
so, well, I wanna actually, first, I want to go into where people can get the book, where they can find you to ask you, any questions, and all the information. I want to kind of like dive into that a little bit, and how should someone approach this if they're a little bit, nervous, or or
Okay.
something.
Yes. Um, Lots of answers. Okay, so you can buy the book at on Amazon. You can buy it Barnes and Noble. Um, I'm sure there are other places, but those are the two
Yeah.
main
The
places. You
big ones.
can get a downloadable version, or you can buy the paperback. There
Mhm.
is an online course, which you can go to activateanartist.com.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
can, and maybe I'll do a John and George discount, 20% discount if you
Ooh.
coupon John and George and get a 20% off
Let's do it.
Cool.
course.
Yeah.
And then we have workshops, which you can also, as teachers, veterans, through Vets Returning Home. If you want to help support veterans, you can reach out to Sandy's organization. Just say, I want to support a veteran for the Purpose program. We have Operation Juliet Dallas Knight. She's going to be doing keynote speeches, focusing on purpose, which is another amazing result from the workshop. She said, I always kind of knew what my purpose was. She was a combat veteran executive for many years, just a powerhouse, right?
Mm.
And after she did the workshop, she said it really validated
Mm.
what she knew
Yeah.
what her purpose was, and realized that she really wants to tour and give speeches and inspire
Wow.
Wow.
corporate women, combat veterans, parents, all the things we've talked about, right? To know your purpose and to pull apart like goal,
Right.
really focus on pulling apart goal and purpose so that
Mm.
you can, think about parents. I mean, as parents, we go,
Mhm.
I am a parent. That's who I am,
Right.
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 you know?
Right.
Okay, so we can help parents remember. And then you become a better parent because there's no better parent than a parent who's just being themselves for their kids,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And so, so through her organization, Operation Juliet, you can contact her, set up a keynote speech, or to do a workshop. Um, let's see.
We're gonna have everything in the description.
Yeah.
When people are watching this, it'll be in there, so they can also find that as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of different ways to be enlightened.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome.
So, um, can you just come back every week? I mean,
Just a little bit.
Certainly helps the ratings.
yeah, exactly. Love having you on so much. I want to
Yes.
turn over the floor to you just for final words, to to your audience, and what you have planned coming up, and just take it away.
Oh, wow. That's a thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, thank you both for just giving me this platform, and mostly because it gives me an opportunity to thank the people who support me, who
Yeah.
buy my book, who've done my course, who tell others about it. There really are so many people who do that. And, when you're a writer or musician, or, sometimes it's very solitary, and you
Hmm.
find that you
Yeah.
get a little disconnected
So true.
from people. And that's what's crazy, is that I love people, but
Right.
yet I'm also a writer. So there's this push pull, right? So thank you for allowing me to connect with my people and maybe find a few more, which is always nice.
Absolutely.
My big focus really is I would love to focus on the veterans and teachers. I have, every time I deliver the program, someone who does the program wants to deliver the program, right? So we are expanding that way as well. There are always opportunities to become a part of the team. If you do it and you feel like, wow, you don't have to do it all the time, but if you want to be a part of it, there are opportunities there as well. And hey, if we, become the reintegration program for the military, I'm gonna need a lot of help.
Yeah.
That's right.
Seriously, let's do that. Let's.
Yeah. I mean, that's so exciting to me, the idea.
It
I'm such
is.
a patriot, and to be
Yeah.
able to help in that way would be just monumental. And my brother's a Marine, and I have a lot of uncles who were in the service. My dad couldn't serve because he had a hole in his heart. So it just allows me to, contribute. My ancestry, I go all the way back to Beausoleil Broussard in Nova Scotia, and we can talk about that one day.
Wow.
True warrior. I mean, the man helped create the Cajun culture. I mean, there's a whole thing there. But it really allows me to feel like, I'm carrying on the for the people.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is helping for the people. So,
I love it.
yes.
I mean, I almost got on to the Boy Scouts. I didn't make it. Those knots, I couldn't figure out, but so I get it. I'm there with sorry. Annie, thank you so much. We love you on this show. You're always welcome back anytime you say I want to be on the show.
Yes.
We'll just we'll just do it. Thank you so much for being here. Everyone, the book Know Your Purpose. All the information is down there, so please check it out. Thank you so much, Annie Laven.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Well done.
guys. Thank you so much. And George,
Absolutely.
thanks for all the great questions.
Yeah,
No problem.
that checks in the
Tell me
mail.
about how much you.
Yeah, that checks in the mail. All
All right,
right.
dears.
Bye.
Ciao for now.
Wow. What can you
Every
say?
time.
Right?
Every time.
He hits it
the
out of the
whole
park every
time.
single time.
Yeah, every single time. It's just great. I love your questions. Always fantastic. You just nail those questions. So
But then she nails the answers. That's the thing.
Well, that's
it's
the
like
thing, yeah,
it's
yeah,
and I try to dig a little bit. I want to see where she's going to go, and
Yeah.
then bang! I'm like, wow.
Yeah. It's awesome, and the course is fantastic. So if you have not done that course, if you don't have that book, please get the book. All the information is in the description below there. Check it out. You won't be sorry. Know what your purpose is. When
Yes.
you do, the world is yours, and you can really function and operate so much more smoothly.
Yeah.
You're not in fear. You
right.
have 100% confidence because you know what your purpose is. So what can rattle you when you know what your purpose is? So get the book and do it. Thank you so much, George. As always, thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
See you all next week. Take care, everybody. God bless you all. See you next week. And as always, peace.
Peace.